Well, it's official as of today. We are halfway through May, and try saying that sentence 3 times fast. Because we're halfway through May, that means we're exactly 3 weeks away from the release of the brand new Silver Age Chapter 3 decks. And that, of course, means that along with the release, we again get to partake in Blaze, the best, most quintessential, most essence of Wizard that you can possibly get. So if you've never played Blaze, 1, you're missing out, and 2, I'm going to share with you how you can do that here in Silver Age. Now, of course, I would love to tell you exactly what the contents of this upcoming Silver Age Blaze Firemind deck are, but we don't know that. What we do know is that it's going to include a couple of cards that are in this list I'm going to present to you. And I'm going to tell you how you can go about starting to gather up the cards and preparing to play this deck, because spoiler alert, this is one of the best decks in the game. I mean, both power level wise in Silver Age, I think it's going to be quite solid, but also it's just that fun. It's like right up there with Gravy Bones. It makes you feel the way you should feel when you play that class or that hero. So Blaze Firemind, like I said, is coming out very soon again into the game of Flesh and Blood, and Blaze is a young wizard hero at 17 health and 4 intellect. That says whenever you opt, put energy counters on this card, essentially the hero, equal to the number of cards that you look at that way. So opt 3 means after you've completed the opt, whether they go top or bottom, you put 3 counters on Blaze. And then once per turn at instant speed, you can remove any number of energy counters. And when you do that, you banish a wizard non-attack action card from your hand that deals that much damage. So if you banish X energy counters, like 3, for example, you can banish a wizard non-attack action card from your hand that deals 3 arcane damage. When you do that, you then put it in the banish zone, and of course you can play it that turn as if it were an instant. So you have access to doing the wizard thing, playing at instant speed, but in a way that is unique to Blaze, rather than playing off the top of the deck and trying to, hope and pray that you find what you need. You just get to play it from hand. You just have to have the counters to cover it. You have to do this in 2 different ways. 1, you have to get the counters, and 2, after you expend the counters, you have to pay for the card that you've banished. So if the card that you banished costs 2, you're gonna have to pay 2 resources in addition to, the 4 counters that you might need to expend in order to banish it at instant speed. So this is how the hero functions. She wants to get counters. Once she gets counters, she can spend counters to play non-attacks at instant speed, wizard specifically non-attacks at instant speed, to deal arcane damage. This can happen on your turn, it can happen on your opponent's turn. And I'm going to share with you the deck list that I think is going to be more closely related to what we see coming out of the box. And we already know it's going to include Crucible of Aetherweave. This is a wizard staff that basically costs 1 to buff 1 at instant speed. Do keep in mind, if you've been playing a lot of Acilio, or if you're new to Wizard or Flesh and Blood in general, you must activate this and resolve it first, and then play your spell, because this is not like Volzar, where you can activate it in response to the spell you're playing. This has to happen first. Seeker's Leggings, I do believe, has been shown very briefly and kind of hard to see, but Seeker's Leggings is a 1 prevention effect that also opts 1. This card, after they banned Stormstriders? No, after they banned, it was Stormstriders, Blaze. Yeah, after they got rid of Stormstriders in Blitz, Seeker's Leggings was just like right there, and it was honestly, in some cases, arguably better than just Stormstriders, which is kind of crazy to say. It's like the Seeker's Leggings being better than Stormstriders just feels like the most off-putting statement to make, but there were moments on like turn 0 where you were like so happy for the 1 prevention and the opt 1 so that you could do the free counters to drop some spells versus like paying 1 to pop Stormstriders, which you often did in Blitz. Anyway, this card's really good. I have included Seeker's Mitts. I don't necessarily think this is going to be in there. I think if it's like a really good deck list, you're probably playing Unyielding Grip. But based on the way that we've built this deck that I'm sharing with you right now, You sometimes do want 4 counters on turn 0. Spellfire Cloak is the standard cloak that you're going to be seeing. It does have Arcane Barrier 1, but specifically we play it so we can gain a resource on the opponent's turn at instant speed. And then finally, this is confirmed to be the headpiece in the deck. Talismanic Lens is like one of my favorite headpieces in the game, has been for quite a while, and it says instant destroy this opt 2, and you get to look at the top 2. So keep in mind that every card that says opt is going to give us counters to put on Blaze so that we can then play our spells at instant speed. All right, let's talk about some of the key cards in this deck list that I think they should definitely include in some number. I would personally include all the copies of Emeritus Scolding I possibly could, and so I have done that in this deck for you. Emeritus Scolding is a spell that normally costs 2 and deals 4 arcane damage. But if you play it on your opponent's turn, it deals 6. Now, the cool thing about this is that if you play it on your opponent's turn, it dealing 6 doesn't necessarily mean you have to drop 6 counters. You only have to drop 4 counters, but because it's on its opponent's turn, it will deal 6. So you're paying 4 counters on the red, 3 counters on the yellow, and that's a key point, and 2 counters on the blue to get 6, 5, and 4 damage respectively. This is massive. This is one of the best cards in the deck. There's a reason we're running 6. There's a reason we're running the yellows. In fact, I would argue the yellows are probably better than the reds, and that is perhaps the most shocking thing. If you have not played Blaze or played Wizard or really engaged with this card that much, the yellows are, I would say, concretely better than the reds. Dealing 5 damage for 3 energy counters in this deck at a yellow pitch as well, costing only 2, is so freaking good. It's so good. There are cards like Cindering Foresight that just give you 3 counters. You have 3 counters living on the board in Talismanic Lens and Seeker's Leggings. You get to 3 immediately. It's on the board. It's sip. It starts in play and sits in play. You can go yellow Emeritus on turn 0 when your opponent goes first. That's why this card is so good. The blue is also very good. The red is that high roll card that you are really happy to see. Keep in mind, though, these are having to be played from hand. They are not K-No'd off the top, just get super lucky. No, you have to actually play them, and you have to, extend your life total a little bit in order to actually play them on turn 0. Other cards that I think are linchpin and that are very likely going to be in this deck, that is Glyph Overlay. Now, this is an interesting one. A lot of people maybe kind of get caught off guard by not really seeing this card and understanding what it does in this deck. We got a card called Future Sight. Future Sight is brand new, and it came out of Compendium of Wraith. Future Sight is an instant that blocks for nothing. It costs you 1, and it gives you 3 Sigil of Fate tokens. A Sigil of Fate token lives on the board, and when it leaves the arena, it opts 1. When it leaves the arena, it opts 1. When it leaves the arena, it opts 1, okay? Also, at the beginning of your action phase, it destroys and leaves the arena. Okay, why does that matter? Because Glyph Overlay will buff itself based on how many aura permanents you control with Sigil in their name. These are aura permanents with Sigil in their name, okay? So you play Future Sight yellow or red. Let's go red. You create 3 Sigil of Fate tokens. Now this Glyph Overlay comes for 3 plus X, which is 3. So coming for 6, you've paid 2 resources. That gives you just enough to play Crucible as well. So that's right, Glyph Overlay goes from 6 to 7. And now, of course, you are going to Surge because your opponents are oftentimes playing AB3. And because of that, then this will deal more than 3 damage. And in doing so, you will gain a life. Then you will shuffle all aura permanents with Sigil into the owner's deck. So your deck, which means these will all trigger and opt you 3. So you've dropped 3 counters to play this on your opponent's turn. You've dealt maximum 7 damage from this Future Sight. This is off of a blue. It's 3 cards, 7 damage off of a blue, gains you a life, and recoups your 3 counters. So there's a reason this card is nuts and really good, and there's a reason that this whole line is quite fragile. Future Sight does not block. Future Sight yellow obviously doesn't block, and these are all looking for these Sigil of Fate tokens. So this is a very high rolly kind of spiky thing that you can do. It takes you setting it up. It takes you playing well to actually get there, and you can also just die. But the payoff is this huge turn that you can sometimes push this thing up to like 12 or 13 off of like Absorb and Aether triggers and other buffs. You gain a life, you gain all your opt counters back, and you feel incredible. So I'm thinking they're going to put this in the deck as well, and this essentially makes up the core of the deck. We of course have other synergies with this Future Sight stuff, like Glyph Power Spell in 2 copies. One of the best arts, all of a sudden, just boom right there. Fantastic art. We have some other creation for the Sigil of Fate tokens. We have copies of Painful Premonition in blue and in red. And then, of course, we have other opt counter generation via red Cindering Foresight. We are not playing the yellows in this version of the list, but we do keep in mind have yellow Absorb and Aether in the in the inventory, and it is a good arsenal target. Absorb and Aether, by the way, is like so peak. If you're not playing this card in Blaze, you probably haven't played enough Blaze to realize that this card is probably the reason you win a lot of games. So Absorb and Aether red and yellow is just good. By the way, I also want to point out, in addition to the blue-based kind of standard fare of Arcane Twining and Photon Splicing, because they both can be discarded to amp 1, we include Voltic Bolts now, including also red Voltic Bolt. And you're not oftentimes trying to use this with your hero effect. You're oftentimes just trying to survive to your own turn and throw a Voltic Bolt for 6, because you can obviously play off of the 1-pitch blue Crucible into red Voltic Bolt and feel really good. But in that same vein, we're now including the brand new card coming in Omens, Turn to Mindfire. This card, after I've done some testing, I was already hyped for it. This card is game changing, bro. Like the ability to like drop 5 counters on your opponent's turn, deal like 7 or 8 damage if you like have Absorb plus like Turn to Mindfire, or Absorb, pop the Spellfire Cloak, Crucible, Turn to Mindfire off of a blue plus the cloak. 8 damage, your opponent takes any of it, you get a Ponder token. There's no problem with you tapping your hero. You don't care at all about tapping your hero, so you just do it. You create a Ponder. You've already opted the top of your deck. You know Absorb is on the top. You arsenal and Absorb on your turn after fully extending, both with blocking and attacking on your opponent's turn. This card's insane. This card's so good. It's so awesome. Oh my god, I love it so much. This card is so it's so good. And then finally, we round this out with Sigil of Temporal Manipulation. And Dampen is in the sideboard for exactly Wizard Mirrors. Scar is in the sideboard currently to like kill allies or to try and kill auras. And then we have AB2, in addition to the AB1 that is built on Spellfire Cloak. So this is where I think the deck is most likely going to be sort of turning, if you are buying the deck directly off the shelf. And of course, if you would like more information on how to actually go about executing this deck at a very high level, I did a while ago, like I made a Blitz Metafy on this deck. I mean, it's like 3 hours long. It's all video, me talking like I'm doing here, but I'm explaining a bunch of stuff, and then I do matchup guides. I'm gonna say, don't buy that. Don't buy that. And instead, I'm actually working on a new comprehensive guide for Blitz, for Sage, and also I think she's eventually going to come to Classic Constructed. And it's not just me that's going to be working on it. I think I'm going to grab a couple of friends who are also avid Blaze fans. We're going to try and basically put together a full compendium for this hero, so that if you want to learn this hero, that's where you'll want to go. And of course, it'll also support all of us who are putting that together, so that you kind of have a win-win situation. You get to learn all about this hero, like in a deep detail, where you don't have to spend dozens of hours trying to figure it out yourself and asking a million questions. Instead, we just give you all the information, and you help support us to go to Pro Tour or Worlds or whatever like that. So keep an eye out for that. And of course, when we do get this deck list, I'm going to make a full video on the deck list. I'm going to tell you how to upgrade it if it needs upgrades, and I'm going to tell you how to go about playing it as well. So this is a hero I'm super excited for, and I want you to prep for it. I want you to prepare yourself, because I am very confident that Blaze is going to be at the very least an A tier, if not one of the best decks in the format. She has her difficulties, but I think she's going to be quite potent in the right hands, and she's going to be the natural wizard successor to what is perhaps the most hated hero in the game in Kano. So Blaze will come in place of Kano if he takes a bench, and she will do an admirable, that's the word I meant to say, job of exactly that, of being a fantastic wizard hero for you to pick up. So if you want to follow more about this deck and this hero, of course, make the number go to the other number. And as always, thanks for watching.